I certainly don't have enough stuff to talk about. I am wearing
I've only got 3 things. Your bald as shit hat there, yeah.
I'm wearing my bald as shit hat thanks to my buddy Chris Shaman who sent this my way. I think that he's an avid listener. This was his most listened to podcast.
That's like
of the year on his Spotify Wrapped or whatever.
That's like the cycle of life or something. Like everything's come back around 360, right? Because Pat Finnerty's podcast is what got me to message you and say, hey, we should do a podcast. Then you told your friend about Pat Finnerty, and now he sent you a hat that's now featured on the podcast. That's
yes.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's all connected.
Yes.
I wasn't planning on wearing this. I guess full disclosure is due that immediately before the recording
He's
of
bald.
this.
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Well, I am.
Yeah,
I am, yes.
Just like me.
But immediately before this, I had my my team happy hour for Christmas. Our Christmas happy hour before this, and unfortunately, like I've been drinking this like rather large glass. It was very full of Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. This is a glass that was sent to me by my team a couple of years ago for Christmas, and because I thought it was very funny. This might get a little spicy.
All right.
For this podcast, but
oh boy,
there was a file name, like a piece of music that we were using in a in a show or something like that, and when you didn't have the entire file name showing, it would shorten it to this in Mac OS. It would shorten it. I don't know if you can read this.
I can read it just fine. Yes. Oh, we have to say what it is because people listening are not going to know.
It says happy HAPPY FU ... CK.MP3.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual real song is.
I would like to know that now.
Yeah, I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to do it.
We don't do that around here.
We don't do that. We don't do that on here.
Yeah.
So full disclosure this week, and it is our 50th episode.
Yes.
Of Here's My Question for You. And I've
it's the golden
had
episode.
a little bit, like maybe a little bit too much whiskey, but it's okay. It's a celebratory episode because not only 50, but it's kind of like our holiday Christmas episode.
It is. Well, it is our Christmas episode.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's that.
I felt like you were going somewhere with that. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, what is it? I'm not like a whiskey aficionado.
Yeah.
Well, what does double oaked mean? Like, do they take it out of the barrel and dump it into another barrel? Like, I don't.
I think that it means that they put it inside of a barrel.
Yeah, leave it in there for twice as long.
And they put that barrel inside of another barrel.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Just even though like that second barrel on the outside doesn't touch the whiskey at all, or the bourbon, or the whatever.
Yeah. Well, not directly. The vapors might get through and come back.
It's got two of them.
All right. So, to lead things on, I think this is the most important topic we're going to talk about today, in my opinion. Since the last time we talked, and I told you I was going to do this, and I did it. My wife and I had chili dogs using the Gold Star, because that's what you said to do. Gold Star chili. With I don't know, you didn't specify. I got sharp cheddar cheese was the shredded cheese that we used.
That should be okay.
And I also put some onions, like chopped onions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because you can order it with onions or without.
Oh, well, I like the fresh onion. I just chop up yellow onions and just sprinkle them on top. So, you're saying if you go to a restaurant, you can. I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant like you can get the chili.
Like chili, beans. It's like chili something and something, but like the 5-way has like onions.
Okay.
And mustard, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't do that. Normally, I put mustard on a hot dog. This time, I did not with that. It was really interesting. It's just I've never had chili like that before. Like
it doesn't really taste like chili. tastes like something
No,
else,
it's just,
you know?
it's more, I mean, the chili I'm used to is more of like a stew that you eat in a bowl, and it's got like beans and onions and peppers and meat, and like chunks of tomato. And this was just more of a sauce. My wife pointed out, because I looked up, what's in Cincinnati chili, and, my wife's Mexican, of course. And so, she grew up eating mole. And so Cincinnati chili is almost kind of, I'm not saying it tastes like mole, everybody calm down, but just like, the idea of using the cinnamon and the cocoa powder in a savory dish is rather mole-esque.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did she think?
We both liked it. Yeah. In fact, we weren't able to finish the whole can.
Oh, that's
because it's just
though.
the two of us, right? So we each had 2 hot dogs when we were done, and I got mine going on too.
I know. I saw
cold.
yours on, so I got.
Yeah, my wife knitted these for me for Christmas last year.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very nice. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we had some left over. Is what I'm saying. We couldn't use the whole can, and so then we had it again. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
So the only thing modification, I mean, aside from, I know I said I put onions in, but that's pretty standard. But you had said that I should use steamed buns, which normally that's what I do. But I just found that just makes the bun way too soggy, since that chili is a little runnier. So what I did, you might want to try it or not, I don't know, is I fired up the broiler in my oven, and then I got the buns just sort of soft enough by heating them up so that they would be, easy to open without ripping them, And so I opened them and then stuck them under the broiler so that the inside of the bun, where the hot dog goes, that got toasted, but the outside did not get toasted. And then that way, when you put the hot dog in there and you pour the chili, it doesn't get soggy, but then the part of the bun that you're kind of coming in contact with still feels like a soft bun.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty
that toasted
good upgrade.
like bread in between, like
yes,
is like a wall to preserve the integrity.
That's exactly what it is. Yes, you put it a lot more eloquently than I. So yeah, and then we haven't done it yet, but I bought a box of spaghetti because we're gonna do that. I just haven't done it yet, but looking forward to it.
If you're gonna do that, the thing that they give you at all these places is oyster crackers. So get some oyster crackers.
What do you need? You have pasta. What do you need oyster crackers for?
I mean, why not? So it's like, it's just carb loading those carbohydrates.
I was watching a clip of Conan on YouTube last night.
Yeah.
I don't know did he have a show like after he finished his show on TBS, but before he started Conan Needs a Friend? Because he was like on a stage, kind of like the show that Letterman did for a while.
Right.
He was on a stage
and went around to different things, maybe.
And he was in a little easy chair, and he had Bill Hader there with him. And he was telling some story about Burt Lancaster, because Bill Hader does a lot of like old timey impressions. And he said he knew a guy that had been like Burt Lancaster's PA or something, and he did this impression of, Burt sent him out to get him clam chowder. He comes back with the bag of clam chowder, and Burt looks in the bag and looks up, and he goes, Oyster Crackers. You forgot the Oyster Crackers.
that's an important part of New England clam chowder. I'm a big clam chowder, New England style clam chowder fan. I'm a friend of that kind of clam chowder, but I'm also a fan.
I feel like if you say, this is my opinion, if you say clam chowder and that's all you say, I think it's implied that you're talking about, like, New England clam chowder, I feel like is the standard. And if you get Manhattan clam chowder, it's kind of like on you to specify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I would always get like the can of stuff, and like that's like one of the ones I would get a can
Would you
of.
the Progresso, or what do you get? I always used to get
Campbell's,
the Progresso.
probably, right?
I guess there's the Campbell's Chunky, I guess, would have a New England clam chowder, but I used to always get the Progresso.
Okay.
And then I would always add a little Tabasco sauce to it. Really good.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's really good. Tabasco and clam chowder is awesome.
Yeah. But, clam chowder is very good. But speaking of Conan, like I have no idea if he did anything else like if he did stuff in between like his podcast and
Yeah.
the show ending. I feel like the show ending, like after a while, I just like stopped really following it anyways.
Yeah.
So I didn't. It was on for a lot longer than I was watching it for sure.
Well, I mean, I just don't really watch that kind of stuff. You know, I always feel like whenever those shows end, I get sad because I'm like, oh, I should have been watching that and I didn't. And I feel like that goes back to like, I remember, you know, for some of you kids out there, I'm old enough that I remember watching like Johnny's last week of shows because everybody knew that, oh, you know,
I do remember like
Johnny's
them talking
retiring
about it.
and we, you know, like I watched the last show live and, you know, I was bummed out. But at the same time, it's like, you know, that show came on at 11:35. So like, and I was a kid. So unless you're up throwing up or something as a kid, you're not watching Johnny, you know? But then like, you know, I watched, you know, Letterman's last show and it's the same thing. Or I watch clips of, who's that guy from Scotland? Ferguson?
Oh,
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah,
like that was an amazing show, but it's not like because that came on at like 12:30. And this was in the days before like DVRs really, or at least before I had one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I was going to record it and watch it the next day. You know, I feel like some of those shows would do well now because people can watch them on demand, you know?
Yeah. You know, if you had watched those shows back in the day when they were like on live,
Yeah.
you'd probably be more familiar with the Education Connection.
Oh, was
television
that was a late night thing?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. I feel like it was on MTV.
It looks like the kind
but
of thing that would have been, yeah.
Would have been on MTV. I mean, I'm just gonna throw this out there because it's like blown my mind completely.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to play
clean
it?
in half.
You can play it if you want.
Can I just have you insert it, or do you want me to
No, I can.
should I just play it? Should I just play that? Should I just play that crap? Because I've had it.
If
up
you
here.
can feed it into the thing, you should.
Yeah, let me feed that in.
Okay.
So if you like, it's just like someone in my team happy hour
Yeah.
took control of the screen and started playing the Education Connection song, which is like a short commercial that was on about going and, you know, if you didn't have very good grades in high school,
Yeah.
or you didn't go to college,
Yeah.
like here's a good way to, you know, get back in. It was like a cheap college to go to.
Oh, okay.
And as far as I know, I mean, I can't tell you anything about it, but someone started playing this. It just like blew my mind because it is something that I immediately like knew the words to it, although I have not thought about it inside my head
Sure.
in like over 20 years.
It's weird how the brain works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what I did this weekend, but I can remember that thing as soon as it played. I'm like, oh my God, how did I, like, it's like, yeah, I forget more than I can remember now, or like whatever. I've forgotten more than I can remember now.
Yeah. But I think commercials especially, like you can, it's probably the repetition aspect of it, but I feel like commercials from when we were kids or teenagers, like they get locked into your brain like verbatim.
Yeah.
You know, like you can see that and sing, like you just said, sing right along with it, you know?
Yeah. And I forgot that it even existed for 20 years.
Yeah.
But I'm going to play it. I'm curious if it's going to
Yeah.
like unlock any memories for
Okay.
anybody listening to it, because I mean, it has over 1 million views on YouTube. So certainly somebody is thinking about it.
I mean, I had never, you know, I watched it and I had never heard it. Now what's going on? Which one is it this time?
Oh, well, if it isn't Mon Frere.
Well, oh, wow. With Nelly, though. Can he hear me or no?
No.
No. Oh. He can see me, though.
Yeah, he's on Christmas break as of today.
Man, he's getting old.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Go play
I
with
mean,
the dog upstairs.
In a good way, I mean, but I'm saying like,
He's getting all big.
well, just compared to when we first started, you know, having video chats and, you know, before we started the podcast and like he thought I lived on a submarine, you know, like that's, looking at him now, that feels like a long time ago.
It does. I mean, it was a couple of lifetimes ago at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Monty, head upstairs. I'm going to play this Education Connection
Yeah.
commercial for
Which
everybody.
is
Hopefully it
not
works.
related at all to Conjunction Junction.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hopefully this works. Is it not working for you? I don't see the waveform showing up here.
No, I think Discord might be canceling it out for me.
No, it's not. It's me. Here we go.
All
Let's
right.
try it again.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
It's a live show, you know.
This is going to work.
I'm working for an hourly wage. I went to high school, didn't do great. Still, I gotta make more cash. More education is what I'm looking at. When I get a degree, I will make a bigger salary. So now I've got to see which college is right for me. I went on the internet and found Education Connection. I took some free tests to find out my direction. I'm taking my classes online, getting my degree on my own time. Education Connection matched me with the right college for free. Get connected for free with Education Connection. Get connected for free with Education Connection.
Log on now and get your free success kit worth $100. Log on now to educationconnectiontv.com. That's educationconnectiontv.com.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it played through to you.
It didn't, but I can insert it. If it's not on your end, I'll insert it.
It definitely
later.
played through on the recording.
Okay.
I was watching the waveform as it was happening.
So if anybody out there remembers that, leave a comment, I guess.
Yes, please leave a comment because, I mean, it's got 1 million views. So certainly I'm not alone, but I feel alone based on
Well,
the response that I've gotten from everybody that I've shown it to. So
Well, I just don't. Maybe it was a regional thing.
it could be.
Because it's not like I wasn't watching TV during the time that you say this was on. So
Yeah. That could certainly be a part of it.
a lot of MTV, a lot of Comedy Central.
Yeah. It would have been on those. I mean, for some reason, I think of it when I was like, I feel as though it was on when I was in college, but it could have been any other time. It may have been, there's this period of time between when I finished college and then I moved to New York that just doesn't feel like it happened. Like it just feels as though it's just like a bunch of memories that didn't actually happen. Like it's just fake.
I get it. So normally this never happens to me. Sorry, are you done talking about Education Connection?
You done with that then? Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I'm done with education. I wanted to just put it out there because I feel it was a samurai sword level, like clean cut in my cutting my brain in half doing this thing.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, So what I was going to say, normally I don't come up with the titles for our show until after, right? Because it's based on the stuff we talked about. I come up with a stupid title, and that's part of the process of digesting the show from the raw material that it is now into what you see and hear on the internet. But this is the title of this episode because we're going to talk about this right now. But I want to know, I'm going to say the title. I just want to know if you get the reference. All right?
All right, I'm ready.
Buck Melanoma, Moley Russell's Wart.
No.
All right. So I just watched for the first time in a very long time, maybe since it came out this week. I should say this ahead of time. I'm on vacation. You know that. People don't know that. I'm on staycation, if you want to call it that. It's just I'm not going to work for 3 weeks.
Dang.
It's great. And so I've watched a couple movies, and I open up whatever app, Max or whoever, and just see what they got. And on Max right now, no, was it Max or no? This was Amazon Prime actually. You can watch what? What?
Prime from the Amazon.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that they're named after people. Like you got Max.
That's true.
Max HBO.
Yeah. Well,
Prime. You got Prime from the Amazon.
From Deion Sanders. Prime Time. They call him Prime for short. Anyway, Uncle Buck. I watched Uncle Buck for the first time in a long time. And
It's been a very long time since I've seen it.
Well, that line is from the scene where Buck goes and has to talk to Maisie's principal. Maisie's the young girl, the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Has to go talk to the principal, and I feel like that scene is most remembered by people because I think she's the assistant principal, but she has this gigantic mole on her chin, right? And she's not a very pleasant person. So at the end of the scene, Buck takes a quarter out of his pocket and says to her, "Here's a quarter. Go downtown and pay a rat to chew that thing off your face," and then walks out of the room. And I feel like, at least when I was a kid, like that was the takeaway line from that scene was, "Oh, he went in there and told her whatever." But the whole beginning of that scene is him going in there, and it's like he's trying not to say anything about the gigantic mole on her face, but then it's all he can talk about. So like he introduces himself, he sits down, shakes her hand. "Hi, I'm Buck Melanoma, Moley Russell's Wart." But then he keeps going with it. And to me, that's way funnier.
It's, what you say, you saying that right now is, I feel as though Mike Myers was really influenced by that specifically, because there is.
Oh, right, with Fred Savage.
But also, it doesn't have to be a mole.
But it was a mole.
I was just watching Wayne's World 2 the other night, and there's the one guy who has like the glass eye. And they can't stop talking about the eye. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Uncle Buck made up that style of comedy.
Oh, for sure not. But I feel as though, Mike Myers was probably inspired from that scene.
Well, I mean, he and John Candy are both Canadian. So,
Don, do you want to come say hi?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
She's putting Christmas gifts in there.
My family never comes down here and. I mean, I got my cat over here next to me, but she's not.
I don't think she wants to. You know, come say hi really quick.
That's how we always end up with
a bottle of wine. You want to come over and say hi?
The show. Oh yeah, what do you got? What kind of wine we got going on there?
You can. Oh no.
No, she doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, wait, what did you say? What kind of wine do you got?
Yeah, what do you got there wine-wise?
It's a rum barrel-aged red blend from the...
Again with the barrels. That sounds pretty good, I got to say.
Although I don't like barrel-aged stuff.
Oh, well. I mean, I've never had... I know you can't hear me, but...
Oh, now she should be.
Okay, I've never had barrel-aged wine, but I mean, I do like... We drink a lot of red blends. I would try that.
Barrel-aged wine. But this is good.
Oh, all right.
It's really good.
It's exactly what we need in our life right now, I guess.
I really need this in my life right now.
Yeah. I mean, this beer's almost gone, and I'm pretty sad about that. So
I was going to go have a pumpkin beer, but this is really what I want.
She's been thinking about it all day, I think. You're like, oh, it's in the closet.
Do you guys have like a good, is it like the pumpkin beer? Is that something like local?
What?
Oh, it's the pumpkin beer. Is it something local?
Mad Tree Pumpkin has the best pumpkin beer.
I'm always looking for like good pumpkin beers because like there's a lot of bad ones out there, but sometimes you hit on one that's really good. So
that's my favorite. You can't find it in a lot of places, so I usually get 2 6-packs when I do.
That's cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's the perfect. It's not really sweet. It's not super pumpkin-y. It's good. I like it a lot.
Cool.
How are you? Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. I'm okay. You guys are mostly okay? I mean, your mailbox is not okay. He hasn't told that story yet. I want to get him to tell that story on the show right now.
They're supposed to be coming and fixing it tonight, apparently. They're going to put like a new post in and put some cement in.
I was telling him, that you guys should do something with the mailbox. Like, he showed me a picture of your little library. So I think it'd be cool if you, but I mean, that's a lot of work.
She made the little library.
Well, I kind of assumed you didn't do it. No offense.
Yeah, it looks a little handmade.
No, it looks cool. That's what I was just saying. You should do something similar with the mailbox. But I mean, the folks at home need to understand what happened to your mailbox first in order to understand what we're even talking about.
Did you see the tree that appeared too?
Yeah, I didn't even see them drop it off. It happened in between getting Aria and getting home. Like it happened between getting Aria and when I went up there, like after
The tree?
Yeah, a friend of ours like made these Christmas trees out of like wooden pallets.
Oh,
you know,
all
like
right.
the wooden pallets you ship things on. Apparently, like if you cut them a certain way, they look like you can make them look like Christmas tree without having to.
Oh, I could see that.
do
Yeah, right.
anything.
Because it's got all those cross pieces. Sure.
Yeah, so you
It's
just
really
cut.
good. He did a good job.
Yeah, he did a great job, and he made a bunch of them for the kids' Christmas concert. I've been saying Christmas concert. Like, did you have like a choir concert type thing when in your high school or grade school growing up?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't in it, but we went and for assembly.
Well, they had a
and
thing
watched
for
it.
like all the kids last night, and I've been calling it a Christmas concert, and my son is like, "No, it's not. It's not a concert. It's not a concert.
Christmas program.
It's a program."
Yeah. Is there more than singing? Is that why? Is it like a variety show?
No.
Or okay.
It's just singing.
Okay. Well, whatever.
But our friend made lovely trees, and now we get to home one,
Yeah, and
return it to next year's Christmas program.
then bring it, and then
It's stored all year.
yeah. So we keep it.
It's really cute and pretty, so
Yeah.
happy to do so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to go do my second job now.
All right, I'll see you later.
That's why I need this. Bye.
All right, you might get a little reverb from yourself because I was turning up the audio, so
I didn't.
speaker, so
I didn't hear anything. So,
okay. But I mean,
it
it
should
might
be-
pick up on the recording or whatever.
well, I've got some techniques that I use on your audio. Well, both of our audios that should take care of that. So anyway, now that that all just happened. Now you have to tell people. So let me just set this up real fast because right now it's like 3. It's like 10 after 3 in the afternoon. We were supposed to.
6:10 for me.
Well, yes. All right. Depends on where you live. If you live in Denver, it's like 5:10 or 4:10. 4:10. We were supposed to record this morning, and we couldn't because some stuff happened in your neighborhood. I'll just say, and then you can take it from there.
Well, first off, I heard some noise coming from outside when I was down here working. My dog was sleeping back here with me.
Nelly.
Or sleeping back. Yeah, she was sleeping on the chair back there, and she didn't pick this up at all. So I heard like the beeping that a large truck makes when it's backing up.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and checked it out, and the neighbors across the street were getting this gigantic hot tub installed into their deck that they just built this past summer. And it was a big hot tub.
Yeah.
And the way that they had to get into that backyard, since the houses are kind of close together here, is they had to put it on a crane and like lift it up and go over the house and then set it back down there, which is kind of crazy to me, right?
I mean, I guess I never
if they-
really spent a lot of time thinking about how hot tubs get in somebody's backyard, but I would
know,
not.
me either.
I would not have guessed there was a crane involved.
Me either. And I think that they're probably not involved in a lot of places until the houses are so close together. And that it's just amazing to me, like just thinking about how it has to go up and over the house like that.
Yeah.
And if that thing comes loose and it goes down to the top of your house, like your entire house is going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
It's going to go like straight through. And not only that, it's not going to just go in and like lodge itself in its second floor. Like it's probably going to go through down to the basement.
You could, yeah.
It's going to be a gigantic hot tub sized crater in the middle of your house when that happens.
Yes.
So they did that. And I was, I sent you a message, talking about Pat Finnerty. I was like, it looks like my neighbors have achieved the simple plan.
Yes.
And are getting a hot tub. And it was fine. So I took a shower and I got out and everything was still fine. And I went downstairs and then I hear a doorbell, the doorbell rings. So I go upstairs and the dog like goes crazy and goes upstairs. This guy's like, "Oh yeah, I hit your. I'm with the crane company. We're just installing a hot tub across the street, and I was driving away and I hit your mailbox."
Yeah.
So like the crane has these like things that go out on the side to help it keep balance, so it doesn't tip.
Right.
So he didn't put one side all the way in.
Oh, all right.
And he drove up, took out my mailbox, but like this just it's like that would be one thing. Like, oh, he hit that one thing.
Yeah.
And if he just hit mine and that was like it, and he just came and got me, you know, it would be like, you know, that's understandable. But the thing is he didn't know it, and he went around the corner and up the hill and took out like every mailbox. I mean, like 2 or 3 mailboxes like going up the street. So
he had to do like the walk of shame to like 4 different front doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you know, like the company is going to replace it.
Yeah.
And like the owner of the company came to the house and said, you know, like we're going to fix this. I'm going to put a, you know, like mine was not nearly as destroyed as other people's.
Yeah, and I saw the picture. It seemed serviceable.
Yeah, the mailbox itself was fine. It just took out like the post that it was on. And like it didn't rip it out of the ground, but it like hit it enough that it leaned enough one way that the hole that it was in was now like stretched, so it could not stand straight.
Right.
So that whole piece of wood is like destroyed. But he came back and he's like going to all these houses, the owner of this company, and he's like, I'm going to fix this. We're going to fix this. And he's like, we're going to fix this tonight.
Yeah.
So like at some point in this evening, they're going to be putting a new post in. I was a little disappointed though, because like our mailbox is the previous owner's mailbox, and it's just kind of a piece of junk at this point. It's all rusted and bad. And I would like to get a new one that's kind of bigger to be able to receive bigger packages, right?
So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to. But I was hoping that like they were going to buy a new mailbox, like a whole thing, you know, like a whole like post. And he's like, oh, I see that your mailbox isn't damaged, so we'll just replace the
post.
The post.
Yeah.
So I was a little bummed out about that, but it's okay. Like I can go and it's up to me now. And like I can pick out whatever mailbox that I want.
Yeah. You should get, they make those mailboxes that have like a parcel locker on them. My mom has one of those.
But that would just make a lot of like extra work for the mail person,
I suppose.
I think.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like we live in an area where I'm not super concerned about anything.
No, I saw the pictures of your neighborhood. Like, my God, I didn't know you guys were doing so well.
It's awesome being the poorest people in a
I'm sure
neighborhood that is, you know.
See, it's in my neighborhood, the mailman still has to walk.
Okay, but that's cool because you kind of get a little bit of you can talk to them.
We get to know. You get to know.
They're not just like cruising by. Although our normal mailman, my dog Nellie, is, you know, if she's out there, like she goes crazy because he always like gives her like a milk bone, and as such has trained her now to this point that anytime a white colored vehicle passes by the house, she's like, I gotta go out.
Yeah,
I gotta go out there because like it's time. It's time. It could have already happened that day, and she's like, I gotta get back out there.
Man, that sucks.
So yeah, and she's like, if you want to know what true defeat looks like, is that you see my dog when it's not the normal mailman driving the mail.
Yeah,
like the mail person's truck.
Yeah,
and that person doesn't stop and give her anything, just keeps on going.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like so disappointed.
Well, I mean, do you give her something to make up for it or no?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. But it's just funny because she's so trained now to expect it. And he jokes, he's like, she doesn't let me pet her or anything like that. She just like wants the milk bone and then runs away.
Yeah.
And goes and like skulks off to eat it.
Yeah.
Which is what she does if you give her any treat. And I laugh about this because she won't just like eat it in front of you.
Yeah.
She has to take it over to like previously designated eating areas that she's decided.
Yeah.
I'm only going to eat this type of food, like over here in the living room next to the ottoman.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, like, so the mailbox got taken out. It's supposed to get replaced. It might even be replaced while I'm recording this.
Yeah,
podcast,
it could be happening right now for all you know.
It could be happening now.
Yeah.
But they're not going to replace the mailbox itself. Yeah. And I have a friend saying like, "Oh, dude, you probably get a lot of packages. You should get an XL mailbox."
Yeah. You could.
What is that? Like, is it just a?
I
How
think
big
like
is that?
extra large is what XL stands for.
And put like a stereo receiver inside of it, probably big enough.
Maybe you could. I don't know. Hey, that cat! I forgot. Did I mention this last time? Did we talk about on the show the cat house? Not that kind of cat house.
Yeah.
The house.
I don't know. We talked about it on the show because I think when you sent me the pictures of it.
Well, shoot. So, all right. Well, I apologize in advance if I already said this on the show. But basically, there's a cat that lives in our backyard, hates our guts, so won't let us anywhere near him. So we named him Grumpus. He used to belong to a neighbor. The neighbor moved away and just left the cat here and just told us, hey, can you feed that cat? And tried to make it sound like it wasn't their cat, even though it was totally their cat. But, I mean, he hates us. He hates my wife because, like, he used to take dumps in her garden. And so she would squirt him with the hose. So, obviously they have a combative relationship.
A little bit.
And I think I'm just guilty by association because I've never done anything to that cat. But he lives in our backyard and we feed him. And he's pretty old by now. He's got to be at least 10 by now. And, so we just feel bad that he's in the backyard and he's just, in the winter, it's so cold out there. And, I just got that table saw. So I'm always looking for an excuse to use it anyways. And so I built him a house, sort of a Snoopy style, it looks like a dog house, a little bit smaller.
You're trying to make it right. You're trying to make
it.
amends.
I didn't paint it red or anything. In the picture I sent you, I agree it looks like cedar because the iPhone, kind of blows out the colors and everything. In person, it's much more muted because it's redwood. But anyway, it took like 2 days before he started using it, so it's pretty quick. And now he's in there almost every day. Right now we have like a rainstorm that's been passing through, so he just doesn't even come out of that house. You just see him, kind of sitting in the doorway with his little grumpy look on his face, just kind of laying there. It's very satisfying.
Yeah. And you sent me a picture of it in there, and it looked like the what was it from the Neverending Story? What's the name of it?
Gamork. Maybe I'm not saying that right. It's GMORK.
Yeah, I would assume that's about Gamork.
Like the gigantic wolf beast in Neverending Story. Because he looks. I mean, because he's always got that. He's got like resting bitch face, basically.
Yes.
And
but I looked in your Discord like that day, and I had said that, and you said, I'm very glad that you said that because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and then somebody else in my Discord said it too without any prompting.
Yep, it's very funny the way that worked out because it really does. And if you have that memory of that thing, being in that cave, I always assumed that thing. I never read the book.
No, me either.
It was based on, and I always assumed that thing was. I feel like they never said the name of it in the movie, did they? I always thought it was like a physical representation of the nothing.
I thought wasn't that guy, I think that guy like worked for whoever the power was behind the nothing. I don't know. I looked into it. That's the only reason I know that. I don't really remember. Okay. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That movie used to kind of creep me out when I was a kid, which is funny because that's the kind of movie they'd show. Like, oh, it's rainy out, so you can't go out for recess. Let's throw on. It was Princess Bride or Neverending Story. And I was much happier when it was Princess Bride. Neverending Story is a great movie, but there's just a lot of stuff in there that's just creepy when you're like in elementary school.
Like when he eats the core of the apple.
I don't remember that.
Like he's eating that apple, right?
Yeah.
So he's eating the apple and reading the book. He's so into it. And there's one point,
Sebastian.
I'm pretty sure that it cuts to it like him and he eats the entire core of the apple. It's like, what is the matter with you?
Some people do.
Are you that into it? Yeah,
people,
like, but who? Like why would anybody do that?
That was a scene in Seinfeld. Kramer was coming on to a woman and he was telling her about how he eats the whole apple, the core, the seeds, everything. Like I guess he thought that was gonna make her,
Well, that scene more than any other thing. Like you could say whatever you want to say about the horse dying.
Yeah.
But for me, it's that kid eating that core of the apple that is
in the swamp of sadness, right? Wasn't it the swamp of sadness and Artax
like sinks and
yeah.
And the thing is, like that happens like so early in the movie that it's messed up, but it's also like you had no time to get attached to this horse. This horse hasn't done anything crazy except for like
later.
But what a soundtrack in that movie.
Yeah.
What a soundtrack. That is like, I'm not even talking about like the theme music, but
Yeah.
just like the score of that music. And when he's, you know, like when he wishes for Falcor into the real world.
Yeah.
And he like chases after those kids down the alleyway.
Yeah.
That's like, oh man.
Spoilers.
Like, that is like tapping into a dream that I feel every child of that era probably had.
Oh yeah, I used to get bullied as a kid. Like in my mind, I was like, "Man, you're so lucky I don't have a flying dragon dog.
Yeah,
Or you'd be in deep shit."
But there's something about that scene that was like, you know, if you weren't the most popular kid in school,
Yeah,
like the only person that didn't like that scene is the most popular kid in school at the time.
probably. Yeah. They
Like
actually
everybody
play
else has like been through some stuff.
the main song from the movie, the actual Never-Ending Story
Mm-hmm.
song. They actually play that. You know, the station I listen to on Sirius XM because it's like an 80s station.
Yeah,
They'll play that song every once in a while.
it's a good tune.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of movie music, going back to Uncle Buck real quick, it was interesting to me because that's a John Hughes movie, written and directed. And it's interesting because that movie doesn't have, you know, I feel like sort of
Any
the
Hughes-isms,
80s
like,
music is sort of is a cornerstone of so many of his movies.
Yeah.
You know, Pretty in Pink, you know, Breakfast Club. But Uncle Buck, Uncle Buck's, I don't know what year Uncle Buck came out. It's a little bit newer. You know, it came out a little bit later, but
yeah.
it doesn't really have that 80s aesthetic anymore. And I mean, maybe that movie came out in like 90, because that movie came out like right before Home Alone, right? That was like Macaulay Culkin did Uncle Buck and then boom, Home Alone,
Right,
which
'cause
John
he was-
Hughes wrote but didn't direct.
Right, and John Candy was in Home Alone, like in the car, right? And
Yeah, he
Van.
was
it's very easy to forget
the
that he was
Polka
even in that
King,
movie.
right? The Polka, what was his name? I forgot. The Polka King.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of his lines were improvised. Like he came and he did that. It was like one day on the set, and I think I read that he worked like for scale, and a lot of that stuff. Like when he's telling Kevin's mom when he's rattling off because she has no idea who he is, and he's rattling off all their hits. Like he improvised that whole thing.
how cool is that? Like, how cool would it be to be able to just rattle that off?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's like clearly things that he's thought about in the past, but was, you know, you just never know when something like that is perfect to just jump out and get you, right?
Yeah.
Like it just be like, oh, this is perfect. This is what I need for this moment. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about John Candy already, but, you know, just anytime I watch a John Candy movie now, it just makes me a little bit sad, you know, just because
Yeah.
I feel like he was such a big part of my childhood. Like any movie, if John Candy was in it, that was like a huge selling point for me.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I watching? When I was going through some old videotapes that were just like off-air recordings, and I had never seen this, and it was his last movie. It was it was just
Wagons
one of
East,
these-
right?
Was Wagon East? I thought it was Canadian Bacon. Canadian Bacon is like the one that's like on this videotape, like an
Yeah.
off-air USA Network recording.
Yeah. I think he died during the filming of Wagons East.
Oh yeah, you know what? That sounds familiar.
Yeah. What are you doing? You're zoning out on me.
Well, I'm looking at I updated some settings on my camera.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't see
fine.
my audio levels popping up, and I'm like, oh geez, what's going on?
I don't know, whatever. It
So I'm
doesn't
gonna have
matter.
to. I'll fix that. I'll
All right.
fix that.
It'll
I
be
mean,
fine. It'll be fine.
I'll just deal with it.
Let's all calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, so I guess maybe Canadian Bacon, which is a Michael Moore movie, which I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because my first exposure to him was like watching. What was the one movie that he did about the company? He's trying to like meet the Roger and Me.
Roger and Me. We had to
Yeah.
watch that in my economics class. That was the first time I saw
Yeah, I had to
Roger
watch
and
that in high school,
Me. Yeah.
and I don't know if that was before or after Canadian Bacon.
I don't know, because by the time we saw, we meaning me and my classmates, not you, but by the time we saw Roger and Me, I think it was several years old.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty old at the time.
Yeah.
And maybe that was his first like dabbling in into documentary.
Could be.
Like based on like, you know, like whatever success he had like making like feature films. And then oh, this is what I should be doing. Although I haven't heard anything about that guy in years. Yeah.
So I kind of mentioned this on my last episode of Weekend Rental. I was kind of talking about how, you know, certain people, whine about the quote unquote war on Christmas, and I was kind of saying like, well, what about the war on Thanksgiving? Because like, Thanksgiving's getting kind of muscled out. And, I kind of noticed this the other day. It almost seems like Christmas, because I just feel like retail kind of drives so much of society. And like now, like I it was day before yesterday. I think I went to Trader Joe's. We all love Trader Joe's, Yeah. And I was kind of wanting to get, that's not why I was in there, but I'm like, I'm going to grab some Christmas stuff, Christmas cookies, Christmas ice cream. It was just all gone. Like, it's like they
never had it?
No, they had it, but it was just like maybe they got one shipment. And I'm saying if you walk into my Trader Joe's now, it just feels like a normal time of the year. Like all the Christmas cookies. Because, like they have their JoJo's cookies, which are like...
Oh, yeah.
That's like their Oreos. They're just
like
Oreos.
The pumpkin JoJo's.
Yeah. But because they have those around like Halloween, Thanksgiving. And then for Christmas, they have peppermint JoJo's. So those are all gone. And then another thing I really like from Trader Joe's, I can't remember if I brought it up before, but they have these little mini ice cream cones. Like,
yeah, okay.
Like you get them in the
that
frozen,
are like dipped. Yeah,
they're like
dipped ice cream usually.
Yes, they're like
little
drumsticks.
But they're tiny. Little drumsticks,
but they're tiny.
Yeah,
they're like 80 calories. They're tiny.
They should call them little drummer boys.
They should, but they don't. Sadly. But so they always have like their standard flavors. It's like, vanilla, chocolate chip, and chocolate, I think. But then like for Thanksgiving, they had a pumpkin ginger one, which it was okay. But then for Christmas, they had a peppermint one. And peppermint stick ice cream is my favorite ice cream. And normally you can only get it during Christmas. And so I got a box of those. Like, I was excited, And then now they don't have them anymore. I've been back twice, and they're just like gone. They usually have peppermint stick ice cream. That's not there. And now, if you go to like your favorite store, Target, like all the Christmas stuff is already on clearance because it's like, Christmas is over, Yeah. It's like Christmas isn't for a week.
Christmas shopping is from like October 15th to November to like Thanksgiving, and then it's over.
Yes. It's like over. It's weird.
I think that'd be really funny if every single like holiday like that season is like over like a month before it actually is.
Yeah.
Like that season is like, back to school is in June now.
But they
like,
do
literally,
that.
Like the moment you like walk out of school
yeah.
is like back to school shopping.
They totally do that. I used to hate that when I was a kid, and now they do it even earlier,
Yeah. Yeah, that's so you think that this is like part of Trader Joe's war on Thanksgiving?
No, I just thought it was weird, I guess.
Who needs to pay for this?
Well, nobody needs to pay for it.
Who needs to go down?
It's just an observation.
Who we taking down?
Yeah, I don't think anybody, but
yeah.
Shit, I had something else. Oh, I mean this. Do you have something? Because the next thing I have is real boring.
I don't know. It's just popping in my head, and it's. I would like to say that the chances of it being more boring than what you were going to talk about is probably pretty big.
Oh well, now hit me.
I mean, as somebody who worked retail, so I was just watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, my favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, all right.
I love it. But there's a part where where they go Christmas shopping at some department store at the very beginning, like towards the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And they're going through, and like it has like a very rapid succession of different cuts of like people shopping.
Yeah.
And you get like a shot of the credit card machine, where they put it down and they put like this like transfer paper or whatever, and you had to like
the shunk
do a
shunk.
thing.
Yeah.
You go chunk chunk.
Yeah.
When do you think the last time you saw one of those in action was?
I don't know, but when I started working retail, I definitely had to use one of those.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And it's like, well, so not counting like bills that you might be paying, when do you think the last time you wrote a check was?
So
when do you think the last time you gave a check to somebody,
Well,
say, here,
yeah.
don't spend it all in one place?
Well, here, I mean, I'll say this, and keep in mind that I'm married, so my wife has checks and I have checks, but I've lived in this house for 12 and a half years. I only have one, what do you call it? Like a pad of checks? I don't know what you call it.
Like a checkbook, like a book, like a.
But I just have the
like
one. I don't have like a whole box of checks. I have one
You're
pad
still on
of
that
checks.
first one?
It still has my old address on it.
Okay.
Now, sometimes we'll have a contractor come do work or something, and they want to be paid with a check, but then my wife will write the check. But I mean, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I hate writing checks.
You know what
I hate
is
it,
when
but
you're
it's
at
just it's just annoying.
You're at the grocery store, and this still happens to me sometimes. I'll be at the grocery store, and there's someone in front of me. It's always a woman. I don't know why. I'm not trying to be sexist. That's how it shakes out. Standing there waiting while the guy is like, scanning all of our items and then says, okay, your total is, $79.85. And then only then will she take her purse off of her shoulder, root around in there like Pooh Bear with a jar of honey, find her checkbook, and then take it out and start writing, pay to the order of Nugget. Oh, what's today's date? Okay, December 20th. And then write the whole thing out. Like, don't have your checkbook out ahead of time and fill out all that stuff while you're waiting for your total. Like, that still, in 2023, happens to me every once in a while. Blows my mind.
I'm just thinking about, like, having a purse with so much stuff in it, you got to root around in it for a checkbook.
Yeah.
And I feel as in 2023 is like, how do you have that much stuff that you got to take with you wherever you go?
I mean, I don't.
That you would just like throw it in your purse.
Well, I mean,
I just
they have to have a lot more stuff.
What?
I get that. They have to have all the, you maybe get your makeup or your lip gloss and then hand cream.
But so much stuff that you got to like root around in there for the checkbook. Like, I got to
hair
find
ties or hair clips.
Like, what's in there? What is in there? It doesn't make it.
Here's my question for you to get back to what this show is about. How comfortable do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? All right. You say to your wife, hey, Dawn, I need a whatever, right? Whatever it is. And she says, oh, yeah, I've got one in my purse. How comfortable are you going into your wife's purse to pull something out of there?
I would say it's like a solid 15% level of comfortable.
So you're saying, you don't want to be.
I don't want to do it.
No. I mean, when I was as a kid, when I was growing up, like
I feel like
sticking
it's a sacred
hand,
place. Like it's beyond what I'm capable of.
That might be part of it. I just feel like for me, part of it, like when you're a kid, going into your mom's purse or your grandmother's purse, that's like a hanging offense. Like that.
Yes.
You were going to get in huge trouble. Like, get out of my purse right this instant, young man. Yeah. And so I think for me, it's a carryover from that. Like if my wife's like, oh yeah, just grab it out of my purse. Or like, oh, hey, do you have $10? Oh yeah, just get my wallet out of my purse and grab it. I'm like, I just go grab the purse and hand it to her.
Yeah. Just like you find it.
It's a lifetime of conditioning of like, you don't do that.
Now that I'm thinking about it though, I bet you a lot of that stuff in there is like stuff that is capable of being stored on a cellular telephone at this point.
Well, cards and whatnot, stuff, sure.
Yeah, all that stuff that you'd find be storing in a purse has probably been converted over to something that could be
tissues. They gotta have tissues in there.
Yeah, just a couple.
I mean, I'll be honest. I feel like if it was socially acceptable, I mean, I wouldn't mind being able to carry some of that stuff around. You don't know when you might need. this, especially
It's totally socially. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not.
Well,
I mean, it drives me crazy when I lived in New York, I had a messenger bag that I carried like everywhere.
Yeah, I have a
And it was
messenger
like,
bag.
your man purse.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Oh my God, you have a man purse. What is? It's like, come on. It's like you carry everything in it.
I had somebody at
PlayStation
work.
Portable in there.
Somebody at work one time made fun of me for having a lunchbox. Like I packed my lunch.
Is it like a like an ET lunchbox?
No, dude. It's like I bought it off of eBay. It's like an antique. It's one of those old black. I think Thermos made a couple different companies. Stanley, I think, made one. It's that old black lunchbox with the two latches on the front, and it was hinged, you know, and like you have a thermos like in the lid. Like if you ever see like a picture of like the iron
construction workers.
Yeah, like the iron workers that built like the Empire State Building. Like that was their lunchbox.
Sitting up there.
And like that's that's my lunchbox. Like I bought one off of eBay and kind of like restored it.
And somebody like tried to make fun of you for having that.
Yeah, he called, "Oh, is that your purse?" I'm like, "How do you not know what this is? Like this is the iconic."
And it's like, what is the matter with you? Like there's no way that like clearly you're not cool enough to understand.
This is
like,
the
how
lunchbox
awesome
that built America, mother effer. That's what I should have said. Except I should have said it. You know.
And then you punched him right in his
I should
face
have,
and
but
pushed
I
pushed
didn't.
him through.
Yeah.
You know, like over the top of your cubicle.
Yeah. I don't have a cubicle, but yeah.
I know. I imagine you working at a cubicle.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but really you have like a lab.
I'm kind of jealous of like my wife has a cubicle, and like this is pretty nice. You have your own little cube. Like people talk trash about cubicles, but like some people like your glass is just half empty. Like you have a cubicle, dude. Like I share an office with two other people, and we have there's no separation or anything. You know, it's like peeing in the men's room in like a 50-year-old football stadium where you piss into a trough.
You're gonna bring up the trough because
Yeah.
At one point, like since the last podcast, I was thinking like, oh, I don't know if I want to bring this up on a podcast. But now that you mentioned pissing in a trough,
Really, you had a pissing in a trough story queued up, and you just
I don't have a pissing in a trough.
weren't
story.
sure if it was appropriate.
No, it's not that it's appropriate. It's just like,
This is about
when you are shoulder to shoulder
yeah,
pee into a trough.
yeah.
I can't. Like I'm just gonna, I don't know if it's like the double oaked talking. And
I don't know.
Just like spinning out there. Like I definitely cannot like pee around other people. Like there's something inside of me that prevents me from being able to pee. And it's like if I had to rank the most awkward things
Yeah,
that I experience as an adult,
yeah.
it would be when I am standing at a urinal and somebody is shoulder to shoulder with me and I can't pee and I'm just waiting for them to finish and get out of here so that I can go.
See, I feel like if that happens
and
to
I've
me,
been there longer than they have.
yeah, I get more into my own head because they know. Like, why is this guy standing here? He's not even
100%.
peeing. Oh, is he bashful? And that makes it even worse.
Yeah. I've heard the term stage fright
Oh,
thrown out there before.
maybe.
I don't know if that's true, but certainly this is something that is it is a constant thing in my life.
Yeah.
Like my number the idea that's my number one fear. Like something that I hate
Yeah.
is somebody is like when I'm like traveling somewhere with a friend, like on a road trip or whatever,
Yeah.
and we both got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And it's like we both go into the bathroom at the same time.
So you won't even pee in a urinal
Dude,
like next to your friend.
Oh, for sure. Like that. Like that's even worse. It's like I can't go, and
Could you go into the stall? Would that help or not really?
oh, I do that, but it doesn't help.
Oh,
a lot of times.
Wow.
But
they'll hear
then it's like, okay, so now what I have started doing in like the last like decade or so is like I really got to go and I like rush ahead of them.
Wow.
Because as soon as I start going, it's fine. It's just like getting that
Well,
start.
because once it
to
starts, it's hard to stop, you know? So
exactly.
it's just getting it to come
and
out.
that like, and I know that. I know that, and I'm getting there so that I can I got to get a head start.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a thing. I had no intention of talking about this.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
And but the thing is I had thought about bringing this up.
Yeah. Well, this is the place you should be able to do that. You know.
Yes. But that is certainly something that is. It's a constant.
But so I'm saying,
struggle.
like, you're at a Bengals game, and I'm sure, that Bengals stadium's not that old, but let's just pretend for a second that it is. They're still playing at the old stadium. You know, it's like halftime. You've had a few, whatever they have there, and you're like, oh, I got to go tap a kidney. And you go into the bathroom, and it's the gigantic trough, and there's just a bunch of other half-drunk dudes. You don't know any of them.
Yeah.
You can't just pull in there and just. Like, I almost get it more if it's like somebody you know, but if it's like a bunch of just idiot strangers, who cares?
No, I think it just goes back to the first experience that I ever had doing that.
Yeah.
Was like at a bar, and it was like a bunch of people. And the thing is like it wasn't even like a trough. It was just like it was kind of a trough, but it was just like a large sink full of ice.
Yeah. Some people use the ice to try to something. I'm not actually sure what the ice is
And
for.
and I think that that was my first experience with the trough.
So check this out then. I bet this must be like your personal hell.
Worst nightmare. Okay.
So when I was in high school, I almost joined the Army.
Yeah.
To the point where I even went and took the Army physical. Like, that's how deep into the process I got. Like, I basically noped out of it or chickened out, whatever you want to say it, kind of the last minute. But so I went and took this Army physical, and, they're really big in the armed services on making sure that you don't do drugs, and so they have to get a urine sample from you while you're taking your physical, right? And so you go in the bathroom, and there's this wall with I'm going to say it's like 10 urinals. I don't really remember. Let's just say for the sake of the story, there's 10 urinals along this wall, right? And then some guy, he's like an Army doctor or whatever he is, has a chair, and he sits at one end of the urinals so that his perspective, he's sort of orthogonal to all of you, right? Because he's basically sitting in the chair and looking down the line at 10, streams of pee. There's 10. I try not to use bad language on the show, so 10 wieners or whatever. 10 guys have their dicks out and they're peeing into these urinals, and this guy's just staring down at all of them, right? But he's making eye contact with all of them, And so I'm standing there and I cannot go. Because it's not
for sure.
I'm shoulder to shoulder with some guy. It's no, some guy, it's his job to stare at you while you're doing it, And so a couple
this is
of guys,
far beyond okay, one of
but
those
hold
single
on.
person could be
hold on, it gets worse.
within
Some guys,
a baseball throw.
Myself included, some guys couldn't go, right? And the guy was he was cool. He's like, oh, if you can't go, just whatever. There'll be another opportunity in the afternoon for you to go again, right? And so a couple of us couldn't go, not because I didn't have to, but just because I had some guy staring at my cock while I was trying to go to the bathroom, right? And so I just couldn't go, right? So then you go back in the afternoon, and now it's worse, because at least before you had sort of the cover of being in a 10-man crowd all peeing at the same time. Now it's a one-on-one situation.
And not only that, but you've been thinking about it all day up to that point.
Oh yeah, I was I got. Well, no, because then later you have to drop your pants and bend over and pull your ass cheeks apart so that some other doctor, which I think is the most ridiculous thing. Every one of us in there was 18, and you've got some doctor who wants to check you for hemorrhoids. What 18-year-old has hemorrhoids?
I don't don't know.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get the one finger how do you do while I was there, but maybe I did and I blocked it out. I don't remember. But I know I had to bend over and show my crack to some lady, which was...
I mean, I don't know if I feel bad for you more than I feel bad for the person that's their job.
Well, I don't know. I could tell you a story about that, but I'm not. I'll tell you that after the show. I'm not going to tell you on the show. And you know the thing is, I'm sure if I had ended up joining the Army, then I'm sure that would have been nothing compared to other stuff that would have happened. You know, but I didn't, and so that was my only taste of it. And so my big takeaway was somebody staring at my peen while I was trying to go to the bathroom twice, and then somebody else, not even the same person, who now you're kind of forming an intimate relationship. Like, can you at least be the one that looks at my balloon knot? No, we got somebody else for that.
Well, yeah, that sounds pretty horrible.
But
I mean, the only way I could think that it would ever be worse is maybe if like they had everybody sit down and like they're like, now poop.
Yeah. On the bright side, just because I don't want to make it sound like this was a horrible experience. On the bright side, the I don't know what you call sort of the ingestion station or whatever where you sign up for this kind of stuff. Right down the street was a Chinese buffet, and they gave you like a voucher for lunch to go down there and get Chinese buffet. That was cool. Got a free Chinese buffet lunch out of it.
That maybe makes things a little bit easier. To have experience. Like, well, you know what? At least you got a consolation prize. But would you say that experience was one of the things that made you say, like, I don't want to do this?
No, that had nothing to do with it.
No. Can you imagine how different your life would be if you had gone through with it? It's like one of those, like the sliding doors moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's been times in my life where I really should have done that. That would have been cool. But, at the end of the day, like, I never would have met my wife. So that would have sucked. But yeah, my life would be completely different. And I think I like my life, Do
you think that is like the biggest sliding door moment of your life?
I mean, it's one of them. You can point to a few things in your life and like, oh, if I hadn't done this, like, what if you had never asked your wife out,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking of like really big things though. I mean, I've never seen the movie Sliding Doors, but I know like the term.
Yeah.
Like, like one little thing can change the course of the entire rest of your life.
But I think there's tons of those things that you don't even realize, if you had done this instead of that or whatever, Yeah.
Like I'm going to watch that movie like before the next episode.
All right. Make sure you write that down.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I mean, clearly mine is like probably moving to New York because I wouldn't have met my wife and I would not be the person that I am today. We wouldn't be here. Yeah. If I hadn't done that.
Sometimes I forget that you moved to New York because you don't bring it up 10 times an episode.
I know. It's like, it's almost been 10 years. Like this February will be 10 years since I left.
It's crazy.
I will have been gone almost as long as I lived there.
See, if you still lived there, like you and Tim Rogers could be like best friends probably.
We could be, but who even knows if I would be into the stuff that I'm into because, I mean, look behind me.
Where did you live?
I didn't have this there.
Like what?
I lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Okay.
Which is like now is considered like I guess at the time it was really, it was like the cool place to live.
Yeah.
Like where all the hipsters are. But now it's like really really pricey.
Yeah.
And definitely like there's no way I could have afforded it.
Yeah.
Now, but like I look back on that. Like we moved in February of 2014. And it's like, man, I can't think of anything that I would have wanted less than to still be there and like living my life there.
Yeah.
Because it seems so exhausting. And like most of the people that we knew that we were friends with like have up and moved elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, look at you now. You live in a ritzy neighborhood. Your neighbor has got a.
it's not ritzy. Like this is like.
Bro, you have a 2-story house that's made of brick, and you have a full basement. Your neighbor's got a hot tub.
Yes,
you've got your mailbox at the end of your driveway, like a fancy pants.
Yeah, and it's also on a cul-de-sac.
There you go.
Yeah. But, a lot of that, like the area that I live in, like this whole area is like kind of old, like I've said before, like my old house was built in 1878.
Right.
But this area that I'm in now is like a subdivision that a lot of people that live here don't even know it's here.
Oh, wow.
And
how far do you live from your old house?
It was built in 97.
Yeah.
What?
How far do you live from your old house?
Probably like 6-7 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, it's just an area that was only recently developed.
Yeah.
In 1997. And then, same year I graduated from high school.
Hey, you know what we haven't done in a while? Oh. Before we get to that, I don't have one for today, but I wanted to propose something.
Ooh.
For future episodes.
Okay.
I feel like for me, one of my issues with doing does it slap or should we eat it is like coming up with a third thing. Like sometimes I just have two things.
Yeah.
And I just want to have two things like, I can't do it. I can't think of a third thing. So, and it's not like F, marry, kill where you have to have three things. It's like, does it slap or should we eat it? That already suggests that it's only two things.
Yeah. One thing can slap the other and you eat the other.
Right.
And you yeet the other thing. And I guess like when I asked you about like Dancing Queen and Can't Hurry Love.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Yeah. All right. So next time.
So you got one?
No. That's what I just said. I just said no. But I thought of one the other day. I can't remember it now. What? You got something?
I don't have anything.
Oh yeah. No. I just meant like for next time.
Man, what a poor 50th episode this is. We're halfway there and we can't even come up with a slapper. Does it slap or?
Well, I feel like we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. I can talk a little bit. Like I have something. I had like one thing exactly written down, and
well, we can. I was just going to suggest we could look at emails if we need more.
Yeah, we could
but
do
if
that.
You've got
but let me
something.
just,
let's definitely do that first.
I just want to like ask you about this because like I don't know if it's just me thinking this is like a weird thing.
Yeah.
But I want to know if you've experienced it or if you've thought about it, especially as someone who does science for a living.
That's what it says on my resume.
So
does science.
Growing up, does science worker.
And stuff.
Because, like my daughter is in 6th grade and she's like she's at the middle school now, which is also the high school. And they're kind of they throw a lot of these kids into this situation where it's like, all right, we're going to take in the training wheels off and you got to figure out some stuff for yourself.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So she, had a couple of tests and she's like had to like study for them. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, oh, here's like the gimme, like here's like a test you just do to see if you could like memorize stuff.
Yeah.
And so growing up or when I was in high school, like the things that I excelled at, that I was good, like naturally good at was like history or social studies and English. And the stuff that I really struggled with was math and science.
Yeah.
Like biology and stuff like that. And a lot of times I would have to like really study for a long time, especially for like biology tests, like pass it. And so she just had some tests that she had to really study for and like had a very difficult time with it. It's kind of the first time that she's had a tough time with it. And first off, I didn't realize, I don't know if it's just true for this school, but like when I was a kid, 65% was like the passing grade. 64% is failing. 65 is like a D- in passing. Okay. Apparently they have like completely jettisoned the idea of like a D grade. So like anything under 70% is now failing. But that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. I just like, she's talking about how she had like trouble with like some science stuff that she did.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about like how when I really had a hard time with like, with science and like having to like study for it, basically what I'm doing is like reading it and like trying to just memorize what the answers would be in this situation. it was never anything like where I was just trying to understand it. Where if like I understand it, like I remember it.
Right.
And that just got me thinking about how like I learn as an adult versus as a kid, where, you know, as a kid I would just like look at stuff and try to memorize it. And it's like relation to this other thing. Like, oh, if I, you know, if this word is mentioned, then the answer is probably going to be this.
Right.
And now if I like learn about something, like the more details that I have, like the more chances of me like being interested in it and like remembering it.
Yeah.
Are true. So I want to know, like, have you always had that, like you want to learn more about it, or was there ever like a time where, you know, you were more book smart versus the before like really actually understanding how it works to learn something?
I mean, I think it depends on what the thing is. I mean,
But like science, like anything science related, like adjacent to what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I would say there's certain classes that I took in college where, you know, I don't know. It's interesting because I don't know if everybody gets to experience something like this, but because of like, you know, I went to college and I majored in chemistry, and I feel like I really got to see the limits of what my brain was capable of and what it wasn't. Like I just took certain classes where I just knew I don't get this and I'm not going to get it. Like my brain. Wow. Like my brain is just not capable of comprehending this thing that I'm supposed to be able to know, you know?
And so like that's part of the allure for you? That was part of the allure?
No, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying then it kind of became what you were talking about, where you had to study in a different way to like, okay, how am I going to pass a test about this when I don't get it? And you had to try to like sort of study in a way, well, if it's like this, then the answer is probably going to be this, or here's at least how to show the work and get the partial credit. But at the end of the day, like fundamentally, the concepts in this class are just over my head.
I guess that like your kid.
Yeah, she's
I'm sorry. She's like I've been like staring at her this time, and she's like,
yeah, I don't know what she's staring at. Hey, what's the matter with you?
I'm sorry. She was just like,
that's how she is. She's like a guard dog.
Doing like the circular thing.
Oh yeah. You're weird.
She's like, what is this guy doing?
But anyway, I mean, I don't know. There's other classes that, you know, like for me, it came easy, and I had classmates or friends that for them, that was something they weren't going to be able to understand. And I didn't have a problem with that. So it just depends, you know.
So a lot of it just kind of came naturally to you though.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably not how I would describe it.
You just had a brain that was
like
wired to like be like, oh, I get this.
Yeah, I just think different people have brains that work different ways, and there's like some things that like, you know, maybe my brain is good at being able to do certain things. There's other things that my brain just I'm just too stupid to be able to get that. But then there's other things that, you know, for other people where it's different, you know, like.
Yeah.
I had to take this class in grad school where everybody said like, oh, it's the worst class you're going to take in grad school. And like so one of my classmates who I was not a fan of, I went out to dinner with, it was me and my wife and her husband all went out to dinner. And she was going on and on about this class because she had taken it already and I hadn't taken it yet. And just talking about it was the worst thing I ever had to do in grad school. It's horrible. And then she turned to my wife and said, you're going to have to give your husband a lot of BJs while he's in this class. Which, you know, my wife is, maybe that's not the thing you say to my wife, I'm saying. You know, like that's a little uncouth, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, she really put the fear of God into me with that class. And I took the class and it ended up being my favorite class in grad school. Like I really liked it.
Because
But
maybe
then like
you had this, like this, it had been hyped up.
no, because I took the class with a friend of mine. She was a classmate and a friend of mine, and she hated it. She said, "Oh my God, this is so hard," and I just didn't have a hard time with it. But I'm saying there's other classes where I just still to this day, like I had a class, I took it, I flunked it, I took it again, and was able to pass it by basically just BSing my way through the tests. At no point did I ever understand any of it.
Right.
Which is fine
And
because it's nothing I need to know, so it's okay.
Right. And that, I think that's like, that's what it comes down to, I guess, is, like, what do you need to know? Like, if you want to do something, obviously you're going to have like at least some sort of a interest in, like how it works or whatever. I just think about it in terms of the, like what we do on YouTube and how I understand how some of this stuff works now. And it was never something that I even thought about. And I'm more interested in about like, why does this work now than I ever would have been about any of this stuff.
But it's something that you're interested in, like if
right,
you could have
right. But I don't even think that I would have been interested in the same way when I was in high school.
Maybe.
I'd be just like leave me alone. Let me do this thing.
But I mean, I still love learning now, but then you're learning the things that you're interested in and you're doing it at your own pace. Whereas being in school, you take classes because it's like, well, I want to get a degree in whatever. Okay, well, you have to take these classes and you have to learn the material at the pace that I say you have to learn it at.
Right. Yeah. And I just think that's interesting. And you're kind of like in that situation with other people. I don't know. That's why I think sometimes about how I think it would be kind of fun to go back to school.
Yeah.
Just like take some stuff and, things that I'm more interested in now.
Well, why can't you? I mean, you got it.
I mean, I
live
could,
in a major metropolitan. Well, I don't.
No, I definitely
fair to say
could,
that. I mean, you live in a big city. I'm saying you have a university, at least one.
But that would definitely throw a lot of, everything that's going on in my life.
Yeah.
Throw it into upheaval, and I feel like I can't do that right now. But if I got into a situation where I could not find work doing what I know, I would absolutely go back to school and be like, well, what's this other thing that I think would be?
What would you if that happened to you right now? You're like, okay, I got to get out of this video editing stuff. I'm going to go back to school.
I mean, I think that I would definitely think it was more interesting to go into electronic engineering just to figure out how a lot of the stuff, and I could relate it back to the stuff that I do know about.
See, that's hard. I would never
it's
major.
Hard to do that, or
I would never major in anything that includes the word engineering. I work in the engineering department.
Yeah,
and
that's
those
just me
people,
talking in a situation where I'm not faced with it. But maybe I could just take a class and see what it was like.
Sure.
Before I actually went for it. But it is, I don't know. It's just an interesting thought experiment to think about, the difference of how we learn as adults versus how we learned as kids or as teenagers. Yeah. Where we basically we're only learning the stuff that we need to know to pass the test. Not how why it is what it is.
Because I don't feel like maybe some people are not like this, but I went to school to get a degree. I'm here to get the piece of paper so that I can go get a job, right? I wasn't really, my mindset was never, I'm here to learn, right? And in grade school, elementary school and junior high was I'm here to hang out with my friends and eat lunch in the cafeteria and then go home, right? And then high school was, I don't even want to do that. I don't want to be here at all. I'm here because it's mandatory, right? Mm-hmm. But the entirety of college for me was well, this is just what I thought you have to do. I feel like that my generation was just sold well, you have to go to college. And so I was oh, okay. So I went to college.
I mean, we definitely were.
I went to college
no option, right?
Yeah, to get the piece of paper so I could go get a job. I wasn't really there to ooh, I'm just so into chemistry. Oh, it's summer and I'm miserable because I can't learn about chemistry all summer. I can't wait for fall quarter to start. Not at all. Yeah.
It's just an interesting to think about, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do. I've thought about going back to school, but that's not something I want to even entertain right now.
Yeah.
about how I just think it would be like such a better experience than the time I had than my college, like my real college experience.
I mean, for sure, grad school has been that way for me. I mean, nobody made me go to grad school, so I never minded the classes I took.
Yeah, and you kind of feel like you're there because you want to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Not, and it's like you're paying a lot of money to take that class.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm saying nobody really expected me to. I feel like there was expectation, like, well, you go to college, but I did that. Now going to grad school is like, I don't think anybody really put that on me. So,
yeah.
And at any point, I could just quit. I mean, even in college, especially like, you go to college, like, when I did, or like people do now, and, I was taking out student loans to pay for college, so, well, then you better graduate, or, if you quit halfway through, you still owe the money and you have no degree. So it's like you have to finish. But like grad school, it's like I could quit at any time I wanted to, really, like without any repercussions, except maybe to my pride,
Yeah. It's an exciting but like kind of scary thought, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got. Like
right.
I was thinking about that a lot because I was just talking to my daughter about it and thinking about like, oh, this is, the stuff that she's like been struggling with. I said, oh, I wish that I could, like that. I want to learn about that.
Yeah.
More so, like but when it was me, it's like I just need to like learn about photosynthesis or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how it actually works or why it is what it is, but now it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just, and I think that's kind of a cool thing. Just a difference between how we learn because we want to, and learn because we have to.
That's what I'm saying. Like now,
there's there's an overlap about like people that the stuff that they have to learn is like stuff that they want to learn because they want to.
Yeah, yeah. But I was just gonna say, like, I'll spend a whole evening now reading. Like, I'll go down the Wikipedia rabbit hole.
Yeah. And
spend hours reading Wikipedia, or going and getting nonfiction books and reading them in 2 days because nobody's making.
But I wonder how much like the desire to do that has been ignited because the possibility to do that is there thanks to the internet. Thanks to like Wikipedia, where it's like, oh, I'm going to read about this thing. Like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's like related to this, and I can just read about all this stuff. And it makes you wonder how many people just have an interest or like find interests that they never even thought that they like become interested in things that they never thought that they would ever become interested in.
Yeah.
Because it's just there.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got, what do you get? You got like a surround sound system down there, don't you? Because you have like a, yeah.
It's just a 5.1. It's not like
it's only a 5.1.
Only 5.1.
Yeah.
Only 5 channels in the subwoofer.
I asked because, this is obviously quite, plebeian compared to what you have, but I just bought a sound bar.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not putting up a surround sound system down here. Like this.
No.
I don't know how it looks on camera, but I mean, this basement's like the size of a bedroom. It's really not very big. So I don't, and it's in an L shape. It'd be very odd. Like I don't even have room for a couch down here unless I got rid of all this furniture, I guess. But anyway, oh, my voice broke. Anyway, sorry, I'm going through puberty. I told you last time we talked about I bought this OLED TV.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any speakers for it because with the old, and this is even worse, but so with the display that I had down here, I've got this, there's one of these little Bose Bluetooth speakers that you get like a Costco or something, and it has an aux input on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was using with the old TV because I'm just playing old video games. Like who cares, right? But, so I got this TV. It doesn't have an analog line level out. It only has optical. So I couldn't use this anymore unless I had to buy like a little converter box or something, which I didn't. But, this TV has like passable speakers compared to most, TVs have really bad speakers. These are like passable. And so I've just been using those, and it was okay, you know. But then I was at Costco just yesterday, and they have a few different sound bars there, and they had this little. It's a Bose. I don't mind for stuff like this. To me, Bose is fine, you know. Mm-hmm. And they had this little Bose sound bar. It's like, I don't know, like 2 feet long, and it was like $150, which is weird because then they had one that was like, and I mean, I'm sure there's more difference than just this, but they had one that was maybe like 50% longer, like maybe it was like 3 feet long instead of 2 feet long, and instead of being $150, it was like $350. So I didn't get that one. I got the.
Where's that price difference? Like, what is the attribute to that? I guess.
Well,
like,
I didn't really even look because I was never going to buy that one, right? Like, I don't need anything more than $150 soundbar to play Super Nintendo, you know, or whatever, you know. Or I mean, to be fair, I play some PS4 stuff on here, and if I had a surround sound system, it would sound awesome, you know, but I don't. And so I got the sound bar, and, you know, now I have the optical out from the TV run to that. And it's pretty cool because it also still has Bluetooth. So if I want, you know, I can pair my phone to it, you know, and listen to some Christmas music.
Yeah. And you can even like run like podcasts through it if you wanted to, or
I could.
Anything. You know, you could listen to this.
Yeah. Have I talked to you before about the Christmas Jug Band? Like maybe last year?
I feel like you talked about it last year, and I don't remember how it related to it though, but you definitely brought it up during last year's holiday season. Oh,
well, we went
kids are like stomping around upstairs.
That's all right.
Break through the ceiling.
It'll be all right. We went and saw him. Today's Wednesday. Yeah. We went and saw him on Sunday night, so that was nice. Because they only play because they all have regular jobs in other bands. You know, they just get together for Christmas and do this jug band stuff, and they only play like 5 shows a year. Right. It's all here in, you know, Northern California. So it's cool. It's turned into like a holiday tradition. That's all. We go check out Christmas Jug Band, which now is it's on Tidal now. They didn't used to be on Tidal. I bet you have Apple Music, right? I bet they're on Apple Music.
Yeah, it probably is on there, right?
Yeah.
I wish that I was like a bigger fan of Christmas music.
But this is perfect. This is like, I don't know if you ever listen to like Dr. Demento kind of stuff. This is more like, you know, if they were around when Dr. Demento was bigger, some of their stuff would be on, you know, Dr. Demento's show. You know, like Santa got run over by a reindeer kind of stuff, or Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It may have been Grandma.
No, it's definitely Grandma.
Yeah. You want to hit a couple of those emails as we round out this year-end show?
Sure.
I guess, you know, like when we return, I'll be a year older. I'll be
That's true. Your
45.
birthday's coming up here, isn't it?
It's
26th, right? Boxing Day.
Yeah, is it like a week from
yesterday? Yeah. Boxing Day / Coury's birthday.
Yeah. You know, I think that's a good day. You know, I was talking to somebody saying that you know, the day after Christmas is even better than Christmas. Like, it's just a great day to relax or whatever. Really, I mean, so I was talking to my dentist recently when I was in there getting a cleaning.
Oh,
well, she wasn't the dentist. She was the
dental hygienist.
The dental hygienist, and she was cleaning my teeth. And we just like kind of got into a conversation about how it should be like almost mandatory for like anybody, like teenagers should like work in either retail or food or like in food service.
Take them down a peg or two.
Yeah, I just think that's something that I feel like that would make the world a better place. Yeah. Yeah. Like empathy like would flow more freely. Yeah. Cuz I will tell you that if I am at a retail store or anything, or like if I'm eating out, I am never like short or impatient with.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Anybody who's working, because you know they're just trying to survive.
But I mean, even just for selfish reasons, like don't be rude to people making your food.
I mean, that seems obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever be mean to somebody about that? Like, I wouldn't even tell. I'll very rarely say like, "Oh, this isn't what I ordered."
Oh yeah, I got in like I had an uncomfortable situation with my wife the other day because we went out to a restaurant and I ordered whatever I ordered and I really, really didn't like it. I'm like, this is really not good. And my wife's like, just tell them, just send it back and get something else. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to be like that. You know, I'm a big boy. Like to me, I felt like it's like, put your big boy pants on. You ordered this,
down.
You eat it. You know, but she's like, no, you should just tell him. And she wasn't saying I should be like rude. It was just like, no, just tell the waiter that it's not good and you'd like something else. And I could see that she was getting upset that I didn't want to because she could tell I wasn't enjoying myself. So I understand where she's coming from. And so finally I did say something, but yeah, I felt bad about it because I don't want to come off as like a Karen, you know?
Well, yeah, but also you don't want them to like whatever you get next is like screw this guy.
I mean, I just said, you know, I finally just asked, hey man, like, could I get the menu back? Would it be all right if I, you know, replace this with something else? And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. So I mean, you know, but I wasn't like, I didn't even want to talk about why I didn't like it because I felt like, well, that's being a little Karenish. Like I don't want to start critiquing the dish. You know, I was just like, oh, can I, you know, I'm not feeling this one. Can I, you know, get something else? Oh yeah. And it was fine. I mean, if they spit in the food that they brought out afterwards, it was delicious spit. I'll say that. It's very good meal.
Yeah, I guess that really like what it comes down to is if they do something to your food, does it even matter unless you've like discovered that it's happened?
Oh, I just think, you know, if you've ever been in the kitchen of most restaurants, you'd realize that it's not as, you know, the conditions are not as sanitary as you think.
No.
So like someone could spit in your food and that might not even be the worst thing that happened to your food.
Yeah.
You know,
it could have like fallen on the floor upside down.
But anyway, I mean, I just feel like, you know, my paranoia about, you know, coming off as rude to like service employees, you know, in general stems from the fact that so many people are rude to them. You know, like if we as a society were a little bit nicer, then everybody would give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And then you could just be yourself, you know, and not worry about it. And a lot of people, that's what they do already. But like for me, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be the story they tell later, you know, to the I had this guy over at table 7. 100%. Oh my God, what a piece of work.
So like they you know, peed in your soup. If you like sent it back.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, email. Right. So this one is from September 13th. Remember at one point it felt like we were caught up.
Yeah, we were getting close.
Yeah.
We were getting dangerously close.
Yeah. So all right. Anyway, this is from...
It was in September.
This was September 13th from somebody called Mop Spear.
Ooh.
So I don't know if that's a mop
like
and then the handle has been sharpened on the other end. Mop Spear.
Yeah.
Something Stanley Spadowski might use to fend off.
You know, can you imagine
R.J.
getting stuck
Fletcher?
with that mop spear and like lift it up and you slowly slide down on that spear?
Right. I like this question. It's a good question. It says, hey guys, your conversation about how you face each other in the cameras, you know, because if you watch the video version of the show, it looks like we're facing each other, even though we're 2,000 miles apart or whatever. Got me thinking about different directions that the players party and enemy face each other in RPG battles. You have the side-to-side style like Final Fantasy. You have your back-of-the-head style for the player characters like in Phantasy Star. And you have your back-of-the-head party but angled. I think that's like an isometric kind of perspective, like in Breath of Fire. Each has its pros and cons. Which do you prefer?
I've never thought about it. It's just, I don't know. They're just all fighting side by side, right?
Yeah, but I feel like I feel like for you, like you're a really big fan of Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
For me, I'm more of a Final Fantasy fanboy. And so like for me, I definitely prefer the from the side.
It's just like, where is the camera pointed?
Yes.
To see them all lined up.
Yeah, I like having them all, like seeing it from the side so you can see everybody But I can imagine that, like, Phantasy Star, especially like if you got the first Phantasy Star when that came out on the
that's
Master
first
System,
person.
that would. Is it? Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah, the first one is
that
first
one's
person.
first person.
And
Phantasy
the third
Star
one is
2 is third person. That's right.
Right, and 4, where it's just like behind them.
Yeah.
Which one do I prefer?
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to.
One that I prefer. I
feel like it just comes down to what games you like more.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked the first Breath of Fire, and I liked the angle of the battles in that game. It's unique.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I've like really thought too much about it. It's like, oh, this is what it looks like in this game. They've designed these battles to look the way that they do, so that they're because that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. All right, you grew up a fan of this team. Next question is from September 24th from Nelson. I don't feel particularly equipped to answer this question. Probably you don't either, but I'll still have an opinion. Which NHL hockey club will win a Stanley Cup first? The San Jose Sharks or the Buffalo Sabres?
I mean, I'm going to say the Sabres, of course, right? But I haven't really been following very closely the Sabres in a while. I have no idea how good or bad they're doing.
I don't either. I just, I'm not a fan of the Sharks, but they're the home team or whatever. So, like, they show a lot of Sharks games on TV. Well, they show all of them on TV here.
Would you rather the Sabres win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Sharks fan for sure. I don't know why. I mean, I'm a Red Wings fan, so I don't like the Sharks. I just feel like there's a very, very good chance, and I don't know why I think this, but I think I could go my whole life and never see the Sharks win a Stanley Cup.
It's reasonable.
Yeah. So I'm saying I would definitely say the Sabres.
Yeah. I'll say the Sabres too, because
I mean, I have not been an active hockey fan in a long time, but I mean, I remember
Me either.
What was that, like the 2000? Was that 99 or 2000 when it was the Sabres and the Stars?
The no goal.
Yeah.
My girlfriend at the time was at that game, and it went until like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was like
crazy.
6 or 7 periods, right? It was like
it was
like 3
went on
OT or
forever.
4 OT.
I remember she went to that game, and I stayed at home, my friends, and we were like, went drinking in the woods. For some reason,
as one
there
does.
was an area that was like behind a. It was called Road Closed.
Oh wow!
There was a Road Closed sign on the street that the back road that went to this place, and people would just go past the sign and would drink back there.
Yeah,
underage drinking.
Oh no! All right, one more.
All right.
What the heck is this?
Oh
wow! All right. Well, no. It's just like this is on Gmail, so the background is white, and then like this person, the font color they used is like barely gray, so I have to highlight the text to read it. It's okay. It's fine. Anyway, this is from Ryan. This is from October 9th, and
getting closer.
Yeah. He says, I wanted to ask you guys about music, which we always talk about. I just picked up learning the guitar at the ripe age of 40 and really enjoying it. That's awesome. What instruments do you guys play now? Any specific kinds of music, favorite songs to play? Do you geek out over any particular technical aspects of the instruments or music?
I played drums for a little while when I was at the very end of high school and in a little bit of college.
Yeah.
Like until I went away to college, that's when I stopped. And as such, like I always like pick out like the drums in every song.
Yeah.
But man, like that's great if you're like learning guitar at this age, because I've thought about it a lot. Like how I would just like to get one and just start noodling around and just like do it. Because I feel like that it seems like a really good like source of like relieving stress.
Yeah.
I guess like I'm just going to do this thing. It doesn't matter if I'm good or bad at it, and I'm just going to make some noise and see how it goes. I mean, maybe that's just what I need to do. Let's get an acoustic guitar that I can just like.
You should
look up some stuff online.
Yes,
try and figure it out.
I am highly supportive of this idea.
I think that my life would be enriched to such an extent that it would make me a better person.
Yeah. Well, let's make that happen.
Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe that
I
should
want
be,
you to
like,
be
one
a
of the
better
things.
person, desperately.
Yeah, I just think that it would be kind of an interesting thing. But I mean, the same thing is like, and you've like been like learning a little bit like some Japanese and stuff, like using that stuff, and it's just like it just comes down to like I got to find the time to like fit.
Yes.
Like a solid hour just like looking at this, and that goes all back to like I'm interested in it. I wouldn't have been interested in it as a teenager, but now I'm kind of interested in it, and like I would probably be much more receptive to learning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than I would have been.
Well, do it. You and Ryan can jam.
That's right. Well, you had you were kind of on like a bass guitar kick there for a little bit, right?
Oh, I still play it. I mean, I started playing guitar when I was in high school, like senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm. You just sit there and play "Hey Man, Nice Shot" all the time. Is that what you do?
Yeah. That's exactly what I play. Yeah.
That's the only thing you play.
And so I still have, I still play my guitars. My wife just started playing my acoustic guitar, so that's really cool.
Is she have any prior experience?
No. But for years, she would always say, like, oh, I want to learn to play guitar. And I would always tell her, like, go ahead.
It's right there.
Like, I'm not like possessive of my guitars. Like, please grab one and play it, like. But then, during the pandemic, I bought a couple bass guitars. And I
like a couple of them.
Yeah.
'Cause you needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You ever play them both at the same time?
No, I don't know how I would do that. But
you fuse them together, so it's like one of those.
No, I bought a bass guitar. It's pretty nice. It's fine. And then like a bass guitar that's very rare, and that I really wanted, came up for sale here in the town where I live for a ridiculously good price.
Yeah, you can't say no.
And I went to the guy's house and I offered him even less, and like he took it. Not like I lowballed him.
You went into the situation saying, I'm going to lowball this guy.
No, I think he wanted $1,400 and I offered him $1,200. And he had some other guy that was going to come pick it up, and he just said to me, he's like, yeah, that's what the other guy was going to pay, so I'll just give it to you for that. But I mean, it's like an $1,800 guitar, bass guitar probably. But I mean, if I could have had that, I wouldn't have bought the first bass. I started learning on that bass, then I got this other one, and I like this one much, much better. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know favorite songs to play. I don't know. Something I really enjoy doing is playing guitar licks on the bass. I don't know why. It's just fun to figure out.
You ever play the song "Good" by Better Than Ezra?
I think I did actually. I learned the bass line from that one just for fun. It's so simple, do 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 do. But actually, one of my favorite riffs to play on the bass is I learned how to play
Under the Bridge.
No, is the guitar intro to Driver 8, the REM song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I played on the guitar too, but I started playing on the bass. It's fun to play with your fingers on a bass for some reason.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And 4 strings seem like a lot more manageable than 6.
Well, it is, but I also I have big hands, and the strings are farther apart. The frets, of course, are farther apart, and I don't ever feel crowded playing a bass. Whereas like playing a guitar, sometimes I feel like you're trying to smash these fingers into a place where they can't all coexist.
Yeah, those gloves you got on would be really good for playing.
Absolutely, they would. Actually, they'd be really good because the gloves would help your hand to freely slide up and down the neck of the guitar. But then, of course, your fingers are completely unencumbered.
They're not cumbersome.
Yeah.
Is that Toadies that saying cumbersome?
No, was that 7 Mary 3, isn't it?
That's 7 Mary 3. Yes, that's who it is.
Which is a Chips reference. I forgot which Ponch or John they were. Their call signs were 7 Mary 3 and 7 Mary 4. I think. Chips. The show.
Yeah, I know the show.
Yeah.
Eric Estrada.
Exactly. Eric Estrada and that other guy.
There you go.
It's like Wham, it's George Michael and that other fella. You know,
Right.
that's Andrew Ridgely. That one I know. I don't know. I don't know who the other guy in Chips was.
Oh well. Oh well.
I think
Is
that's
that gonna
about
tie
it.
it up for episode 50?
Yeah, episode 50. We're halfway.
Halfway there.
Yeah.
We're living, not quite living on a prayer yet, but we are halfway there. Here's to the next 50. Like, I think that we got some guest potential lined up.
Yes.
Maybe you'll hear some other voices if you're like,
not Tim Rogers because you're too scared to ask him, but other people.
well, I mean, he's not. He has. I don't know. I don't think he's like that present on messaging stuff
Maybe.
these days. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to everybody who's listened for the first 50 episodes.
Well, if we ever have Tim
thanks
Rogers,
thanks for sticking with us.
if we ever have Tim Rogers on the show, I have my question for him. And no, I'm not going to tell you what it is right now.
Yeah, don't tell me what it is. I would like to be.
It is,
I would like to hear the answer to it.
It is extremely boring, pedestrian question, but for some reason, I'm like, oh, I'll ask Tim Rogers this if I ever get the chance.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll send him another email, see if we can get him on here. But we got some other guests like lined up,
Yeah.
some fun people, and I think that should be like a more regular occurrence in this back half of the show.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah, I'm pretty
get some other
tired
people on
of
here.
just talking to you. So
Well, we've talked about everything that there is to talk about.
I kind of
So,
feel
so
that
much
way.
so now that we're talking about like, can you pee next to another person in a trough?
I don't know. I feel like that's more of a classic, you know. Like if we ever,
No,
at the,
I think that's great.
At
I
the
think
end
it's
of all
great.
this,
And
if we ever make like a mega episode of all of our best stuff, I feel like that'll be in there.
I 100% agree, and I'm glad that fear did not prevent me from mentioning it.
Nor should it.
I'm glad that I did not have stage fright of mentioning
having
stage fright of peeing next to other people.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
That's
All
it.
right.
Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or both.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'm gonna go take a shit.
That's the new sign off now? That's what we're doing.